Hi guys, my name is Sterling Gardner and I help entrepreneurs grow their businesses 5 to 10x without overwhelm using fun, easy, lucrative 5-day challenges. The product and process that I use and created is called Launch Perfect. I'm here to talk to you today about exactly what to teach in your 5-day challenge. This is the number one most important thing you could ever want to know about creating a 5-day challenge, guys. It is the thing that people have the most issues with. It is the number one reason that people's challenges either have wild success or bomb. And that's exactly what to teach. So we're always looking for the little hinges that swing big doors. So knowing how to lay out your content in a very specific way that leads your audience to have a mini transformation every single day along the way is the number one way to have a successful challenge. The problem that I see over and over, particularly with some of the big gurus, in fact, there's some of the guiltiest for doing this, and it's nobody's fault, right? We all have a genius, we all have knowledge, and we all have an expertise, and whatever we're going to do in our 5-day challenge, we know that we have the knowledge to lead people into our offer, but the stumbling blocks come with, okay, how do I take that genius, how do I take this knowledge and this expertise and contextualize it in a way that makes sense in a 5-day challenge? So I'm going to walk you through why exactly what to teach is the most important thing to know. And then I'm going to, this is part one of a 4-part series. I'm going to teach you, there are 5 different structures. I'm going to teach you 3 of them. I'll mention the other 2 in this video as well. They will be separate videos where I go into detail and you'll actually see how my mind works. We'll take an offer and I'm going to use, I'm going to create one structure. With this one offer, we're going to take a totally different offer. I'm going to use a separate structure. I'm going to do a third one and use a third structure so that you can start to see how my mind works. And I think that's going to be very helpful because anybody can give you the answers, but if you don't understand how someone arrived at those answers, it doesn't really do you much good, right? Teaching somebody to fish versus giving them fish. So I believe that's all I want to say in this introduction. Let's get started. Oh, I do want to point out one of the most important things, and at the end of this I'm going to invite you over to a masterclass training. But why is the structures, why is having your structure nailed so important? Because if you do not give people a clear, concise roadmap, they're going to be confused right out of the gate. That's going to create disconnection, disengagement, and conversion rates to drop. And what's fascinating is that if you lose them on day 1, you have no chance of getting them back. Like if they're not totally enrolled in what your challenge is going to be about, day 1 I call the doorway, the entryway into your challenge. If you don't nail that, you're never going to get them back. I promise you. Super important. And then day 4, I'm going to show you how we strategically build days 1 through 3. So when it lays into day 4, I have a very cool special process for day 4 where I show you in depth in other videos how we actually unroll like a red carpet to invite people into your offer. There's no pitching that has to be done. Nobody likes to be pitched. Nobody wants to pitch. So I want to set it up in a way that makes sense. So it's just a simple invitation. In fact, if you get this structure right, the way that I'm going to teach you, and nail your content, what's going to be cool is that you'll actually have people reaching out to you before you even invite them to work with you. That's how powerful this can be. So if you do this right, your audience's next natural and logical step is to want to enroll in your program. So without further ado, let's dive in here, guys. I'm going to make myself smaller on screen, not figuratively in life. All right, exactly what to teach in your 5-day challenge by Sterling Gardner. All right, guys, I don't know where you are in your business. I work with all different kinds of business folks. Perhaps you've done a 5-day challenge and it didn't turn out as well as you had hoped, and you want to try to figure out how to make it bigger. You have some blind spots on that. Maybe you did a challenge and it completely tanked, which is a bummer, but you need to figure out what you did wrong to improve it before throwing in the towel. Or two other things, maybe you're intrigued by the concept and you're stuck on how to move forward. There's a fourth option. You've done challenges and they've gone pretty well, but now you're looking to really scale them and take them to the next level. So just for context, I had a client that came to me. They had done $1 million in their challenge before they came to me. And we walked them through the Launch Perfect system, reorganized their content, gave them a whole slew of different things to do actually during the process of their challenge, which I'm going to talk about in other videos. We layer in 10 psychological triggers that you have to have, and then we give people this proven system, so 97% of the work is done. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this little story here is that this client came to us, they did $1 million, and then we took them through the Launch Perfect, and we got him to $2 million 4 times faster than he got to his first $1 million. So that's the power of content. That's the power of Launch Perfect and getting and nailing what to teach down. All right, so if you're in one of those 4 places, you've come to the right place. So what I want to share with you guys is that 5-day challenges are the highest converting, most lucrative marketing mechanism in existence today. But, and that's a huge but, nailing the content is the single biggest factor in creating these crazy high conversions. So I want to talk to you like, am I just making this up? Am I just saying it's the most lucrative marketing mechanism in existence today? No. I have a unique perspective that not a lot of people have. What's that perspective? Well, I run a Facebook ad agency. I help clients in tons of different niches. They have tons of different offers. They have tons of different marketing funnels and marketing mechanisms that they use. And I've just seen over and over and over again that a 5-day challenge is the most highest converting, most lucrative mechanism in existence today. If you don't know, a standard webinar, I'm just going to use a webinar because a lot of people use those. A standard webinar will convert at 1.5% to 2.5%. In fact, if you hit 2.5%, most people write to their mother screaming from the rooftops, that's a phenomenal webinar, right? And there's people that just do what I call normal challenges. They don't use the Launch Perfect process or system, and those will convert 2.5% to 3%. That's generally considered a good conversion rate. And if you don't know, by the way, the conversion rate is the number of people that sign up for your challenge or sign up for your webinar and then actually buy your offer at the end of it. So with Launch Perfect, our record so far, I want to say it's a 22%. It's the low 20s. I think it's 22% conversion. So everybody that came into the challenge, 1 out of 5 people bought this person's offer. We generally see 6 to 10%. And we usually shoot for 10. So if you can shoot for 6 to 10 as opposed to 2 to 3, like, what I mean, what are we doing, right? You're looking at possibly 5xing what a webinar could do just by doing a challenge the way that we're going to show you. So back to the content. Nailing that content is the single biggest factor in creating those crazy high conversions. Remember how I said we want to look for the small hinges that swing big doors? Well, nailing your content is that small hinge. A lot of people assume it's just making sure you have a solid sales pitch, and they could not be more wrong. In fact, the content is what sells your offer before you even get to sharing it with them. It's also the #1 thing people struggle with when executing a challenge because they're hyper-focused on the pitch and their offer more than they are on the content structure of their challenge. I'm telling you, if you put the 80-20, if you focus 20% of your energy on getting the damn content in your challenge correct, that's going to give you 80% of your results in the challenge. All right, we've got other ways that we can balloon that up way further. I'll discuss with you in other videos and in the masterclass, but for now, let's stay there. Let's keep it there. So we're going to fix all that. Okay, guys, so what you need to understand is that most people that come to me, even the big gurus, names that you've heard, big coaches in the space, they have the same problem that you do. In fact, sometimes they're more guilty of it than others. And that's around lack of clarity about exactly what to teach. So this sentence I'm going to want you to read a couple times. Being an expert on your topic does not mean that you know how to frame your knowledge in a way that is super effective for a 5-day challenge. I see this time and time again, guys. We all have genius. We all have knowledge. We all have expertise. How do we frame that in a 5-day challenge that makes the most sense, not for you, for your audience? What's the clear step-by-step process, day-by-day process that we want our clients, our audience to go through so that they enroll in our offer and want to work with us after that? That's what I'm going to help you with today. Okay? Yeah, I want to talk about fire hosing them. Guys, we are in the world right now, if you're in any of the kind of marketing circles or business circles that I am, there's a huge focus, and rightfully so, on over-delivering. I go out of my way to over-deliver. I want to give people way more value than they think that they're paying for in every single thing that I do. Here's the thing with a 5-day challenge. People think that over-delivering in a 5-day challenge means teaching as much as they can, proving to everybody that's signed up for their challenge that they know more than anybody else. They want to share all the things, quote unquote, right? All the things. I want to share all the things that I know about launches and challenges and ads, all that stuff. The problem with that is if you fire hose them with information, especially on day one, they disconnect, they're confused, they disengage, and your conversions immediately plummet. The biggest problem with that is if you lose people on day one, they're lost forever. You cannot get them back. I promise you. You've got to nail day one, and I'm going to help you really do that. And then also in the other parts of the videos, we're going to really step a little deeper into that. That's day one is crucial. Day 4 is crucial. So we get them in there, if we set up the entryway correctly for them into your challenge, and then unroll the red carpet for them on day 4 so that they walk right into your offer, that's the goal of our 5-day challenge. So you're not setting out to impress somebody with all the knowledge that you have. Think about it, guys. We're bombarded every day with so much information. It's available everywhere. You can just do a Google search, right? They're not looking for that. Over talking doesn't equal over delivering in a 5-day challenge. The more you give, it can actually hurt conversions of challenge members. What people really want is that they are dying for the most concise and specific information laid out in a logical way that makes sense for them to implement. They want a crystal clear roadmap, a pathway from where they're stuck currently, and drawing that roadmap for them step by step to where they want to go to relieve the pain that they have at the beginning of the challenge, right? So they want to know if their problem has a realistic and attainable solution that they can confidently follow through with. They want that roadmap that leads them from where they are to where they want to go, and we want to help you position yourself and your program as the best way for them to get there. Makes sense, right? So here's the key that you need to understand about exactly what to teach. If you structure your content strategically, your audience's next natural and logical step is to enroll in your program. That's how seamless we want it to be done. Now, you might have already learned this the hard way, and you're nodding your head in agreement because you've been there, done that, and failed. It's insanely easy to waste a ton of time and money and energy attempting to do a 5-day challenge. So let me get this key point here. Your challenge content is meant to teach them everything they need to know about a specific problem. It's meant to begin a journey for your audience so they're headed in the right direction. What is that direction? Into the doorway of your main offer. All right? So without the right structure, here's some of the pitfalls you can expect. Your prospects and audience are going to be confused right out of the gate. You're not going to get their attention back. If engagement's dead from the start, you can kiss your sales goodbye. You have no prayer of giving your audience many transformations each day because you've confused them or fire hosed them. All this incredible knowledge and genius that you want to share with the world is now a waste because it doesn't make sense to any of your clients. That's either because you've given them too much, or you may have just put it in the wrong order and it doesn't make sense to them. So I want to help you track through that. You have to work extra hard to sell your offer, and then it feels totally gross and salesy because you're pushing engagements dropped, you're freaking out that you put all this, invested all this time, energy in there, and like, what's going to happen? It's like people can feel that energy. You do not want that. I want to show you how to show up refreshed, clear, clean, confident. They might be confused about your offer because the journey you took them on doesn't to get there doesn't make sense to them. You weren't immediately able to give them results during your challenge, so why would they buy your program? If they aren't convinced you've structured them, if your challenge isn't structured in a way that makes sense to them, why would they think that your main offer is, right? Because again, this is the doorway and the pathway into your offer. And then you lose time and energy trying to figure out why the challenge flopped, and then you don't ever want to do another one. You think challenges are the problem. In fact, all you had to do is figure out your challenge. Excuse me, your content. I'm telling you, everybody that says, oh, challenges didn't work for me, challenges didn't work for me. Challenges would work for you if you dialed in and nailed your nailed your content, which makes you confident. So let's paint a picture of what it can look like if you have your challenge content dialed in. People are blown away by the value you give, and you don't feel like you've given away the farm. Imagine showing up to your challenge completely confident, like literally get rid of overwhelm and get rid of anxiety and all that stuff that comes with sometimes showing up in the world, because you had a crystal clear roadmap laid out for your ideal clients that gave them mini transformations every single day and being a catalyst for change in their lives for everyone who enters your challenge. Now imagine showing up incredibly well rested because you had it all mapped out, written, set up ahead of time, so that all the other things in the challenge are happening, running seamlessly in the background. I talk a lot about that in my masterclass. So we have these proven systems and processes for how to run a challenge in the background, and you are essentially not doing anything but showing up to teach. Imagine having your zone of genius. It's all you had to bring and to the challenge. You don't have to delete yourself by all the tediousness and minutia of the things that aren't inside your zone of genius. Now imagine if your invitation into your program felt easy, it felt natural, and you created effortless sales instead of feeling icky and anxious about the pitch. I haven't said this yet, but we think pitching is a 4-letter word. We do not believe in pitching. You don't have to pitch. In fact, you can nail your content so well that you can actually invite people into a 5-figure program. We've had people 5,500, 6,500 now, where they're not even making people get on sales calls, guys, because you have a chance to connect and you've walked them through this path. It's amazing not to schedule sales calls and people don't show up, and for the people that do show up and buy, not having to pay sales commission. It's a really nice thing. Again, make it easy, not icky. And then imagine having your content built out. So if you go through this process once and build all the assets that you need for your challenge, you've built your golden goose for your business. You don't have to do that again. Like, build it once, they will come, and then just turn it on and off at will when you need cash injections into your business. All right? So yeah, I'm going to talk to you a little, just to touch on this. I've had the privilege of watching some students and clients firsthand, each one getting to achieve this vision for their business. Here's the other cool thing, guys. This has happened every single time I've ever worked with a student or client. When we nail the steps, the days of the content of their challenge, you can apply it to other funnels too. It's the same application in different funnels. It's the same unfolding of information with a clear, concise roadmap. So people get off these sessions with me and they're like, oh my God, I could use this for so many different things. Just because they have clarity and confidence. It's pretty cool. All right, so I mentioned briefly, I have a system called Launch Perfect. We help entrepreneurs take this content. In fact, Module 1 is all about creating your signature challenge and nailing this content pieces down. But we have a proven system that removes all the overwhelm. Everything's done, basically handed to you with templates, swipes, all that fun stuff. I want to help people create these amazingly lucrative challenge mechanisms without overwhelm, overthinking, or overspending. It's completely possible, you guys. And knowing what to say will help you avoid anything that can cause your audience to feel confused, overwhelmed, or disengaged. So, knowing exactly what to say is the #1 key to making your audience confident in their decision to enroll in your program. We're going to get into the 5-day challenge structure. So if you don't know, you're going live for 5 days in a row inside a container. That container is a Facebook group. The 10,000-foot view of that is day 1 you're going to teach, day 2 you're going to teach, day 3 you're going to teach, day 4 you're going to teach and invite people into your offer, and then day 5 is generally reserved for a Q&A. All right, so that's just the 10,000-foot view. I'm going to talk about again, the big structures, and then in subsequent videos, I'm actually going to walk you through each structure. I'm going to take one offer, one structure, a new offer, a different structure in the next 3 videos. So I do not believe, I'm not one of these people that teaches you got to do it my way or the highway. I think that's baloney. I think that people that do that because they don't really know how to iterate. So somebody, look, here's the situation. It's not just people that teach challenges. It's people that teach most anything. They will have figured out something that worked for them, and then they will scream it from the rooftops, and then they will charge people to learn how to do it. And then what happens when you get in there is that it's not right for every offer. It's not right for every audience. It may not be right for you. So I like to give people a way to have flexibility and fluidity to choose something that works for them, that creates, the click. We want it to click with you and to your audience, to create this beautiful connection between you, them, and the content. So the first one, I call 4 pillars. The structure is where you simply take 4 pieces or modules from your coaching program or your course, and you teach 1 module per day. All right? If you have a high-ticket coaching program in any niche, I don't care, and let's say it's an 8-week program, you have, or you better have, or I don't consider you to be a good coach, to be totally honest, you must have a framework that you walk people through. You must have a proven process or system that people do. You do this week 1, this week 2, this week 3, so on and so forth. So you're pulling 4 of those and putting them in an order that makes sense for them in the context of a challenge. So again, 10,000-foot overview, guys. 1 pillar, 4 pieces. That's where you take one of your modules and pull it out into 4 pieces. So usually in a module, you're going to have multiple lessons. So we're talking about taking one module and choosing 4 of the lessons in an order that makes the most sense for a 5-day challenge. In stack style, I'm definitely a little biased because I created this one. It's named after my agency. And this structure is where you address your audience's biggest pain point as the topic of day 1, and then their next pain point. So after they come into your challenge, you know what their biggest issue is. And so you say, guys, on day 1, we're going to solve this issue. And they're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then after you solve it, what's day 2? Well, you as the expert, you've gone through you've gone through the experience that you're going to be coaching them through. You know what the next obstacle is going to be after they solve their very biggest problem, right? So after you solve day 1, you can say, okay, guys, now that you've solved X problem, you're going to run into Y problem next. Today, I'm going to show you how to overcome Y problem. Great. Day 3. Guys, yesterday we addressed and overcame Y problem. I've done this a million times, so I know that the next issue that you're going to come up against is problem Z. So today we're going to address problem Z, and so on and so forth. And then in day 4, which I'll talk about a little bit more in the stack style specific, in one of the other videos in this series, I'm going to talk to you about the beautiful way that we lay out day 4s that roll the red carpet out for folks. Okay, the other 2 styles I just want to mention quickly. Jeff Walker has a product launch formula that works well in a live challenge format. Stu McLaren has a tribe formula. If you're inside my program, I have outlines to those things. I've done them myself. I know how to do them, but I am not certified to teach them and do not feel comfortable teaching the specifics of that. I just want people to know that if you've gone through either of those problems, We can take that content that you have, refine it even more in more detail and with more clarity than you ever have had. I don't care if you've done PLF or Tribe 100 times and it's gone well. I'm telling you, we have things inside Launch Perfect that will balloon that and make it just so much better. All right. So in this document, guys, which you can grab the link in the link will be in the description below. I have one example offer about growing prize-winning roses. So if my let's say I have a $3,000 offer and I teach people how to grow prize-winning roses, and it's an 8-week program. So I take that one rose 8-week program, and we list the modules here. By the way, there's another video here where I go into the rest of this. It's going to be the samples, so it's going to be the exactly what to teach samples video, and I will actually go through these. But the reason I'm not going to do it again here is because I'm going to go through each sample on their own in a separate video in this series. So you'll see that you have the samples here, the blanks, the samples, the blanks, so on and so forth. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. It's a super valuable lead magnet. Okay, so I just want to wrap up again. So I named stack style cascading pain points. So again, you're just walking people through and solving pain point after pain point for them. When we set it up that way, we always say, what's the very first thing? In this example with the roses, what's the very first thing a newbie rose grower would need to know to have a successful, thriving rose? I call this the doorway into your challenge. And if you nail the doorway and get the next 3 days in line, we unroll the red carpet so that their natural and logical next step is just to walk right into your offer. All right. So one point I want to make is that for the doorway offer on day one, the biggest pain point on day one, we want to make sure that you are actually addressing what your audience thinks their biggest problem is. Let me repeat that. I want you to teach them what your audience thinks is their biggest problem, because a lot of times it will not be the problem that you know they have. Let me see if I can think of an example. I've tried to grow roses. I think they're beautiful. I have a brown thumb to the max. And my problem is that I cannot figure out why these, I think they're called aphids or aphids, these bugs eat all the leaves and then they just tear these 2 poor rose bushes I've been trying to grow for 3 years, just cannot seem to make it. That's what I think my biggest problem is. That's what you would want to address on day one, even though you know as the expert it may not have anything to do with aphids. It may be that I picked the wrong rose for the climate that I live in. Okay, do you see the distinction there? The problem they think they have versus the problem that you might know they have. They can be the same thing. Sometimes they're not. I want you to be aware of that. Just you're focusing on what they think, not what you know. Okay, so then we go through another sample with the template here. Okay, so give your audience a win every day, which will increase engagement, give them a hit of dopamine, and inspire them to come back the next day. Create your content so it springboards your audience into the next natural step, which is paying you to work with them. Do not delay gratification. Nobody's got time for that. Every day should be a win. Be crystal clear in every instruction and actionable steps so your audience sees you as the best option to help them to get to the mountaintop. So I want to show you how to go even deeper to make your content super engaging. You'll have people asking how to work with you before you even finish your 5-day challenge. So, okay, this is information about the masterclass I was talking about. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying there are multiple things available for you in the description below. The first one is a link to download this exact workbook here, exactly what to teach. There's another one that will have a link to the Launch Perfect Masterclass, where I not only show you more in depth about exactly what to teach, but we go into the 10 psychological triggers that have to be in your challenge. I talk about frameworks for challenge. I don't like to talk bad, and I'm not going to name names, but there are people that claim to be gurus all around challenges, and they literally don't offer a structure or a framework, which is mind-boggling to me. To my knowledge, I'm the only person in existence with structures and frameworks around challenges. So I'll go over that, and then in that masterclass also, I will literally walk you behind the scenes through all the processes, systems, and tools that we use, so that if that's something you're interested in, that system has, it literally hands you 97% of everything that you need for your challenge done. It's got templates, swipes, graphics, post copy, emails, surveys, script outlines, roadmaps, checklists, calculators, calendar. I mean, it is a literal, there's 8 massive toolboxes that are contained in Launch Perfect. You can find out all about those if you sign up for the masterclass. So anyway, that link's below. And then some of the tools that we use regularly should be linked below as well, as long as a transcription of this. So thank you for the time. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in one of the next videos below. Well, I think the first one we're going to dive into is the 4 pillars.